Great Depression, which happened in October 1929, brought the whole country down.
It affected, everyone. Let's put it that way.
No one could get work, and banks and other businesses failed, and America lost hope in Herbert Hoover, the president at the time. They needed a new leader with new ideas. They elected Franklin Delano Roosevelt, or FDR, a Democrat from New York. His inaugural address gave hope to America.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Our greatest primary task is to put people to work.
His reaction to the Depression was the New Deal. The New Deal was created in his first 100 days of office in a special session of Congress. It consisted of many programs and acts to reform America's economy and unemployment. The Federal Emergency Relief Administration, the Civil Works Administration, the National Industrial Recovery Act, the Public Works Association, the Homeowners Loan Corporation, and the Farm Security Administration were just some of the many programs brought on by the New Deal. The most memorable and lasting program of the New Deal is the Civilian Conservation Corps, or CCC, a program that put 18 to 25-year-old men to work conserving and improving the infrastructure of the nation's parks.
I was not a real good student, so when the CCC came along, I quit school and went to work in the CCC camp to bring some money into the house.
Even though they were only paid $1 a day, with $25 a month being sent home.
Probably that $25 that was being sent home was 50% of the cash that was coming into the house.
They received free housing, free health care, free meals, free vocational and high school educations, and free government-issued clothing. FDR involved the Departments of War, Interior, Agriculture, and Labor in the CCC. The War Department was in charge of building the camps, providing food, medical care, clothing, and transportation for the men, while the Interior Department provided education, supervised work in national parks and federal lands, and cooperated with states when doing work on state parks. The Agriculture Department looked over projects having to do with soil conservation, reclamation, wildlife protection, and other projects. The Department of Labor went through applications and sent those who were eligible to Army men training camps that got men fit for work. The enrollees were then sent to a CCC camp for 6 months. Colorado's enrollees were sent to Fort Logan to be conditioned in April 1933. Once they received their training, they were sent to tent camps in the mountains. By the end of the first enlistment period in September 1933, there were 32 CCC camps in Colorado, including 23 in national forests, 4 in national parks, and 1 on the Ute Indian Territory. At the beginning, some camps were just made of tents without showers. Colorado's men braved 2 blizzards in their first May. The staff at a CCC camp consisted of an Army officer as the head commander, a project superintendent, a camp doctor, an educational advisor, and a technical assistant. The Colorado men worked with Colorado national and state parks by building picnic and camping areas, building museums, making miles of new road for easier access to parks, making signs for hiking trails and roads, restoring and adding hiking trails, and fighting forest fires.
We're planting hundreds of trees a day, not per person, but we would plant a tree every 5 minutes the way it was going on, or less than that.
In eastern Colorado, the CCC and Soil Conservation Service focused on soil conservation. They educated farmers on soil erosion and demonstrated the proper procedures of erosion control. And in 1940, they worked alongside farmers, terracing, furrowing, and strip cropping. They made gully outlets, fences, and planted trees and shrubs to prevent wind erosion. Aside from giving the young men work, the CCC provided educational and recreational time.
Somebody's got a guitar, and everybody thinks they're a singer, so.
In 1937, general education for 10 hours a week became mandatory. They had local teachers in colleges come and teach anywhere from elementary to high school level classes. Some men learned how to read and received high school diplomas. Men could also participate in a range of clubs and sports. This added to the enrichment the CCC provided for young men. The Civilian Conservation Corps' end came at the beginning of World War II and the close of the Depression. By the end of 1941, half of Colorado's CCC camps had closed, and fewer men applied. The CCC would not be forgotten though. The Flagstaff Amphitheater, Flagstaff Road, Mesa Verde, Garden of the Gods, the Colorado National Monument, and the Red Rocks Amphitheater were just some of the projects the CCC completed in their time in Colorado. The building of the Red Rocks Amphitheater is the most memorable project the CCC took on in Colorado. Its natural acoustics and breathtaking beauty make it a destination for people all around the country. It is still creating revenue today, being home to many concerts and festivities throughout the year. This is also where the Civilian Conservation Corps commemorative statue stands. It is there to remember all those CCC men who worked on the Red Rocks to make it what it is today. The CCC also completed erosion prevention projects on 20 million acres of Colorado land, made 110 miles of hiking trails, built 160 forest bridges, and planted 3 billion trees. The federal government spent about $65 million on the CCC in Colorado, but the boost to local economies, relief sent back to families, and the experience and education each man received who went through the program is priceless. The Civilian Conservation Corps was a reaction to the unemployment during the Depression that revolutionized the national and state parks in Colorado, helped Colorado's economy by providing men with jobs, and still is helping Colorado with $900 million a year coming from the national and state parks that the CCC worked on almost 80 years ago.